Hey guys, so I get asked a lot on this channel, Ken, what books have you read that have really changed your life? I've got so many books that I could talk about. In fact, this room alone, behind me are so many books, and right in front of me, bits you can't see on this video, are lots of books. And around our home, in every single room, are lots and lots of books. So we love reading books in this house, and there are so many books I could explore and talk about. But today, I've picked a sample of 5 books to begin this conversation around sharing some thoughts around books. Books that I believe are quite different in what they have to offer and are critical for this journey towards financial independence. My name's Ken of the Humble Penny and Financial Joy Academy. What we do on this channel here is give you guys the tips, the insights, the practical hacks to help you work towards a dream life of financial independence and money joy. Now listen to this, right? So most people typically think about financial independence from the perspective of the numbers. They think about the maths of financial independence. But I know that what's most important actually is the mindset, the psychology. That's what's really most important. So the book ideas I've got today really explore different aspects of the journey, depending on what levers you choose to pull on that journey, and depending on what pathways you choose to go. These books will come across highly useful for you in helping you really understand yourself a lot better, and also giving you a set of tools to really make this a successful journey ahead for you. If you are thinking about buying any of these books, we'd really appreciate you using some of the links we're going to share for Amazon below. You can also check out our own Amazon store that we've recently created. Again, the links will be below. Okay, let's dive in now and start talking about these books. It's a very candid conversation. Okay, and the very first book I've got on my list is this book here called Designing Your Life. Okay, this book has really changed my life in so many different ways, and the subtext with this, the idea behind this, it says here, build a life that works for you. Okay, that's what this book is about, and this actually started life in Stanford. It says tried and tested in the Stanford Life Design Lab. I think this is a module in the Stanford MBA. And they've then gone ahead and converted this into a book. And this book is really practical for so many reasons. I'll tell you why. So I even found some of my notes, which I'll read to you in a second, when I was reading this book back in 2017. This book does something really unusual in that it helps you ask yourself the really deep life questions. They're very simple questions, but very important questions, okay? And it also does something really interesting in that it helps you think about dysfunctional beliefs and helps you to reframe those dysfunctional beliefs. I'm going to read you some of them. So this is how the book looks on the inside, okay? So here on this page here, I'm looking at page 151, in case you bought this book. There's one dysfunctional belief is this: happiness is having it all. That's a dysfunctional belief. But the reframe for this journey towards financial independence and creating the life that works for you, here's the reframe. Reframe is this: happiness is letting go of what you don't need, right? This is really powerful. And it just goes through that these reframes are littered across different areas of the book. So for example, here's a dysfunctional belief around work. Work is not supposed to be enjoyable. That's why they call it work. That's a dysfunctional belief. And a reframe on this point about work is that enjoyment is a guide to finding the right work for you. Oh, this is so powerful. And I know this because the journey towards financial independence is not just about running away from work, which is the misconception a lot of people get when they talk about early retirement. I'm going to run away from work. No, work is a critical part of doing life well. In fact, we were created to work. Okay, so me, for example, quitting my job in the city doesn't mean I don't work. I'm just doing the type of work I choose to do, work that I find highly enjoyable and highly purposeful, which is what I'm doing right this very moment. Okay, so the final thing I want to mention about this book is that it helps you to rank your life in different aspects. It helps you to almost really consider areas that you might not ordinarily consider, such as what's your health view, what's your work view, what's your play view, what's your love view in your life. So the play one really shocked me. So the book gets you to essentially rank and score yourself across different areas: work, play, love, health. Okay. And for me, when I was reading this book back in 2017, I really lacked a lot in my life when it came to play. I'd forgotten how to play. I was just all about working all the time. Okay. Anyway, I found this sheet of paper, which basically you can see here, like I've all my scribbles about myself and how some of the stuff I'm working towards. And what's interesting, one of the words that are highlighted in different color is the word financial joy, which is really fascinating because this document here says 25th of May, 2017. At this point, the Humble Penny, the blog, the YouTube channel, the academy, all these things you see didn't actually exist. So had I not read this book, those words that I really wanted in my life, the way I wanted to describe money, would not have flown into my life. And that is so good for me to see this and to see me documenting the things that really stood out for me. And one of them being, for example, this word that really stood out, I've written here, in my experience, the optimal way to live and achieve financial joy is to approach our finances with a design mindset. So this is me writing in my own words and almost reflecting upon what I thought was really important in my life. I highly recommend this book because it will be life-changing for you as well. Okay, book number 2 is this book here called Think and Grow Rich. So sorry, it's not very clear and you can't see the actual name, but if you look clearly, you might be able to see it from the top here. This book is life-changing. This book means so much to me because it took me a while to actually get through this book. I pretty much read this book, literally line by line. And the way this book is presented to you is that you're not meant to rush the book. You're meant to read it days apart and really reflect and act upon what you are reading. This book helped me take some really major decisions in my life around acquiring specific assets into our lives, really helping me break past my almost limitations in my mindset that it's not possible for me to be able to do certain things. Just to give you some ideas about what this book's about, and I made my notes, just going to show you guys, hopefully you can see this. I wrote a bunch of notes in the front. Each time I found something that really stood out to me, I would make a note about it. So this book has certain very key topics that it's about. So key topics such as desire and the importance of desire. Faith is another topic. Autosuggestion is a topic. The importance of specialized knowledge, which I'll speak about in a minute. The importance of imagination, very critical. Organized planning, okay? The importance of persistence. These are just some of the really important topics in this book. And I want to focus specifically on the importance of desire. A lot of us in our day-to-day really struggle with this idea of desire. We've stopped desiring things. We've stopped dreaming and wanting to achieve certain things in our lives because we're just busy. We've got family life, we've got all these things going. And because we don't have the right people around us who are also desiring and making things happen in their lives. This book really is so important because it just opens up your mind to possibilities and gives you the practical steps for you to take to start to implement some of those things and personalize them in your own life specifically. Also wanted to speak specifically on this idea about specialized knowledge and why that's really important. We talk a great deal on this channel about making extra money, for example. And I know for certain that my knowledge around so many areas, whether it's accounting, sales, marketing, YouTubing, blogging, memberships, you just carry on. Technicalities, operations, compliance. I have so much technical knowledge in so many different areas. And the fact that I understand the power of those specialized bits of knowledge means that those bits of knowledge can be packaged in different ways to generate extra money in a variety of ways. This book really introduces you to the way to think about how you bring all these elements together. The desire, the imagination, the specialized knowledge, you bring them all together to help you accelerate your journey towards achieving your goals. Okay, so 100 years after the second book was written, Think and Grow Rich, is this third book called 3 Feet from Gold. This is a fascinating book because this book really, again, 100 years later, went to look did some research around what it takes for people to kind of achieve their goals. And this book introduced me personally. What I took away from this book was a formula for what it takes to achieve success. I'm going to read you the formula out. I'm going to put it up on the screen as well for you to see. Here it is. Passion plus talent multiplied by the right associations multiplied by action leads you to success, right? This formula has been so critical in helping me achieve daily successes in my own life, very, very personally. This formula is absolutely critical because it brings together elements of your passion. So this is what makes your heart sing, the things that you love, your talent, the things that you are very good at, okay? Passion and talent, bring together those key elements. Then you throw in the right associations, i.e. the people you hang around with, the people that sow into your life, the people that motivate and drive you. Then you throw in that critical element of action, because without that action, all the others just actually don't lead to anything. When you've combined those 4 elements, you arrive with success on a consistent basis. Okay, so the 5th book I wanted to share with you guys is this book here called Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, right? This is a critical book. If you're somebody who is interested in business, and I highly recommend, and I've talked about this many times on this channel, that every single person watching this channel, especially at these times we're in, should be doing absolutely everything possible to create an alternative life for themselves. And the way you do that is by creating your own business. Now, this book is fantastic, and people often read this book theoretically without actually realizing how powerful this book is. Okay, so this book introduces you to some really important things called mental triggers. And mental triggers are critical for generating sales in your products or services or in your business. This is obviously very important if you are somebody who's pursuing financial independence, but doing it partly via the lever of business. You're pursuing business, you're selling your own products. It might be digital products online or offline, whatever it is, but you're using the tools. This is what this book is about. It's about giving you the tools to help you create the right type of offers, right, to help you generate sales. Okay, so I'm going to read you some of the mental triggers that are described here. Okay, first is this idea of reciprocity. Okay, that's the first one. Which essentially means that when you give something to somebody, they give something back to you. So for example, I create a really high quality video like this. You might choose to then use our Amazon links to purchase the books that I've recommended. Okay, do you see how that works? That's reciprocity there in action, because I've given you something of perceived value and you say, well, Ken has given me this value. He spent his time creating this video. Since I'm going to buy the books anyway, I may as well use his links. That's reciprocity in action. And this is a mental trigger that you can use in generating sales for your products and services, because you understand that this is a universal principle. So it really flows from this idea of give and receive, okay? So giving should be the first act rather than receiving. So if you're in a relationship, or if you are in a business, friendship, or business association, or whatever it is, always think about giving first. That's the first order. Not thinking about taking. Think about giving first. And what happens is reciprocity gets activated. So that's the first mental trigger. The second mental trigger is this idea of commitment and consistency. I've written so many times about this, about why this is absolutely critical for any success in your life. I talk about my marriage, for example, to my wife, Mary. Had I not committed to my wife and, 10 years ago and said, okay, well, right, we're doing it, proposals and marriage and all of that, and then stayed consistent, time after time, and she's had to do the same herself, obviously. Had we both not done that, we would not be seeing the results we're seeing. This idea of commitment and consistency, it can be seen even on this YouTube channel. Because had we not committed to sharing information about financial independence and staying consistent every single week, we would not be creating influence. Remember, this is about influence, and with influence comes trust, okay? And with trust then comes you building relationships, real relationships with people, which might lead them maybe purchasing your products or services if you've got any to offer to them, okay? Now, the next one is social proof. Social proof is about validation. It's about you essentially getting across this idea that you've been validated somewhere else. So I'll give you an example. We got featured recently on the Sunday Times in the UK, and we've been featured across lots of other media like the BBC, the Guardian, Channel 5, the Metro newspaper. We've had some interesting features which have been really good for us. But the fact that we've got that, say, on our YouTube channel, on the banner of our channel, if you're somebody who's visited our channel for the first time, you're more likely to think, I want to hang around with these guys, even though I don't know a lot about them yet, because they've been validated by somebody else. This is what social proof is about. It's a powerful mental trigger for business. Others include liking, authority, scarcity. These are all mental triggers that are absolutely critical for business. And these mental triggers have helped me, on my personal journey. And when I say me, I'm really talking about me and my wife, because we're a complete team, on the journey towards our journeys towards financial independence, because we've explored various pathways beyond just the traditional investing your money through the stock market. We are entrepreneurial in our household, so we've explored business ideas, products and services and things like that. These sort of ideas, these tools have helped us accelerate our journey towards financial independence. So the fifth book I want to mention on this video is this book here called Your Money or Your Life. Okay, now this is a classic book. It's been around for quite some time, and this is the updated version. The one thing I want to talk about this book, say specifically about this book, is that this book introduced me to the idea of thinking about our lives from the perspective, and our money from the perspective of life energy. Okay, life energy. So a lot of us don't almost convert, and we almost assume that we've got an infinite amount of time in our lives. This book helps you start to reframe that and almost ask yourself, say you've got a BMW parked outside and you're paying £400 per month for that BMW. How much of your life's energy is being expensed or almost spent in keeping that thing sitting out there on the driveway? Let's say you're somebody who maybe makes £20 an hour. So how much of your life's energy are you having to give up for that to happen? This book also asks you some really important questions. It's actually quite a practical book and goes into elements about your spending, your savings, and even areas into how you might want to stash your money away, where you might want to put your money away. And then it asks you some really important questions, such as what is the meaning of work? Which interestingly is actually something that gets asked in this book as well, here in Designing Your Life. This book also asks you those very important questions, because this journey of financial independence is really not just about money. Okay? And I hope you know this already. It's really a big part of it. It's about getting back your life back, getting your time back, and creating the life that you really desire. Okay, I'm going to throw a bonus book in because it's really important, this one. And the bonus book is this one called Know Your Why by Ken Costa. Okay, this book is so important. And he's written another book called God at Work, which you can check out as well. This is actually written from a faith perspective. Okay, so if you are a person of faith, you find this book particularly powerful and interesting. In fact, you don't have to be a person of faith to actually read this book. This book is critical because it's really helping you to figure out what your why is. What is it you are here to do? So from a headline perspective, it introduces you to this idea of thinking about what you've been called to do. So what's your call to passion? You're called to passion. You're called to engage. You are called to flourish. You are called to wait. Very challenging. You are called to choose. Very interesting. You are called to be courageous. You are called to focus, to persevere, to worship, and to break borders. Now, this book is critical because a big part of this journey towards financial independence is really about knowing what your why is. A great deal of us do not think about our why. We focus too much on money itself, when in actual fact, what's critical so that you almost find yourself on this journey is to focus a great deal on understanding what your why is on this journey, which for me, for example, is a big reason why, Mary and I have chosen to really focus on what we believe we've been called to do, which is to educate many through many platforms, as many platforms as we can, in our own voice, in order to help them see transformations, real life transformations, not just in their own lives, but generationally over time, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed this particular video today on these life-changing books that can help you with your mindset on this journey towards financial independence. If you really enjoyed this video, please hit that like button because it really helps encourage lots of other people to engage and also watch our videos. If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button right there, as well as the notifications bell, so you get notified when we publish our videos, typically twice a week on a Tuesday as well as a Thursday. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make reading books a big part of your life. And I guarantee you, it's not only enjoyable to read books, but it's life transforming in ways that you can't even begin to imagine right now. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you again on our next video. Take care and bye for now. Successful journey ahead, okay? So, marriage and all of that, and again, the alarm went off.